K-Book Trends, Volume 86. Topic Section: Korean Literature, From Page to Screen. Written by Shin Jae-woo. In the Korean film industry, the label, based on a novel, is no longer unusual. Over the past decade, films adapted from literary works have steadily reached theaters, making secondary rights sales a significant revenue stream for publishers. For filmmakers, novels are an attractive source material because they offer strong narratives and existing recognition, all within the constraints of limited budgets. As a result, adaptations have not only drawn audiences to cinemas, but also reignited book sales, often sending older titles back up the bestseller lists. Since the success of adaptations, such as Gong Ji-young's The Crucible Changbi Publishers and Kim Yo-young's Wandeuk Changbi Publishers, which achieved both commercial popularity and social impact, literary-based films are no longer regarded as exceptional undertakings. This month's article reviews prominent examples from the last 10 years to trace the broader shifts and directions in Korean literature. Films adapted from works by representative Korean male writers arrive in 2017. The year 2017 was a landmark for literary adaptations, with several works by leading male writers brought to the screen. The most prominent was Diary of a Murderer, Pokboksa Ga, adapted from Kim Young-ha's acclaimed novel of the same title. The protagonist of the story is Kim Byung-soo, a retired serial killer afflicted with Alzheimer's disease. In an attempt to anchor his fading memories, he turns to diaries and tape recordings. Yet his already precarious grip on reality begins to unravel when he comes to suspect a newcomer in town of being another murderer. The novel is structured as a series of short, diary-like entries written by the protagonist, a form that not only drives the narrative forward with speed, but also vividly conveys his inner psychology, creating a kind of suspense achievable only in literature. In the film adaptation, the dynamic confrontation between actor Seo Kyung-gu and Kim Nam-gil, coupled with the unstable perspective shaped by fading memory, sustains tension throughout. The adaptation itself drew significant attention, as critics at the time focused on how the novel's chilling psychological atmosphere could be translated onto the screen. That same year saw the release of a film adaptation of Kim Hoon's acclaimed novel, Naman Sung Sung, Fortress Hakgwaje. Having surpassed 100 printings, the book recounts 47 days of isolation during the Qing invasion of Joseon. Amidst the bitter cold and famine, the hardliners Juzonpa, Jujompa, and the Dovesjuhapa, Juwapa clash over principle and pragmatism, while ordinary people struggle simply to survive. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk, later internationally recognized for Squid Game, translated Kim Hoon's characteristically spare prose into cinematic weight, juxtaposing King In-jo and his ministers' debates with the parallel struggles of the people. Though unusual as a political period drama in commercial cinema, the film was praised for faithfully capturing the spirit of the novel through its nuanced mise-en-scene and the intensity of its performances. Films adapted from works by representative Korean female writers arrive in 2018. In 2018, the long-awaited film adaptation of Jong Yoo-jong's thriller, full-length novel, 7 Years of Darkness, Uneng Namu Publishing, was finally released. Since its publication in 2011, the novel has gone through over 100 printings and sold more than 500,000 copies. Expectations for the film were immense, as Jong was called the Queen of Thrillers. The novel unfolds as a relentless confrontation between Chae Hyun-soo, who disposes of a body in a reservoir, and Oh Young-jae, the victim's father, with the narrative shifting between past and present. Accidental Murder, its concealment, and a revenge plot spanning 7 years showcase Zhang's trademark speed and plot twists. Yet, the cinematic version divided opinion regarding its overall quality. Even so, the adaptation reaffirmed the visual affinity of Zhang's fiction, prompting further projects, including the film adaptation of The Good Son, Changbi Publishing. That same year, Jo Nam-jo's Kim Ji-young, born 1982. Minimsa Publishing was also adapted for the screen, drawing more than 1 million viewers within just 5 days of its premiere. The film directly inherited the impact of the original novel, which, since its publication in 2016, had ignited feminist debates across Korean society. The novel starkly exposes the structures of gender discrimination through the life story of a single woman, and the format was equally striking. Structured in the style of a research report, the text meticulously records the forms of discrimination permeating Kim Ji-young's life, thereby making visible what had long remained unseen. The film reinterpreted this narrative framework into a dramatic story, eliciting both empathy and controversy among audiences. Genres and platforms diversify with the expansion of the original market, entering the 2020s. In the 2020s, film adaptations of novels have expanded in both genre and platform. A notable example is Bak Sang-young's Love in the Big City, Changbi Publishers, which was shortlisted for the International Booker Prize in 2022. It was adapted almost simultaneously into both a film and a drama, each with different charms. The linked collection of 4 short stories centers on Ryeo-Ryeong, a writer in his early 30s whose experiences capture the pulse of contemporary, particularly urban, life in Korea. Director Jang Gon-jae's film, based on the short story titled Jae-hee, depicts the melancholy and aimlessness of youth through the cohabitation of a gay male protagonist and his college friend, Jae-hee, a woman. By contrast, the 8-episode drama, released on the Korean OTT platform TVing, shifted the focus to the protagonist's coming of age and romantic relationships. Park Sang-young, the original author, also took part in adapting the drama version. Meanwhile, other adaptations have placed artistic fidelity above commercial considerations. For example, Zhang Kang-myung's Because I Didn't Like Korea, Minimsa Publishing, and Gin Hae-jin's About Daughter, Minimsa Publishing were developed as independent, mid to low-budget films, modest in both financing and scale. Their creators concentrated on preserving the tonal and emotional integrity of the source texts rather than chasing box office success. The novel tells the story of Gae-won, a young office worker in her 20s who runs away from the pressures of Korean competition to start anew in New Zealand. The adaptation emphasized the novel's emotional register and was filmed on location in New Zealand, lending vivid authenticity to the screen. Lead actress Kwa-sung strengthened the narrative's persuasiveness with a naturalistic performance. Kim Hae-jin's full-length novel, About Daughter, centers on the relationship between an elderly mother, her caregiver, and her lesbian daughter, portraying social prejudice and conflict with delicacy. Its film adaptation was likewise produced on a modest scale, yet it faithfully conveyed the tone of the original prose through restrained dialogue and still, contemplative images, relying on the actor's expressions and rhythms of breath to carry the emotional weight. Hollywood Eyes Korean Fiction. More recently, the potential for Korean fiction to make inroads into Hollywood has become a focus of interest. While Korean works in SF and thriller genres are not yet as dominant as their overseas counterparts. It seems that their distinct emotional sensibilities have increasingly attracted foreign producers. Among the most notable cases, last month, Chin San Ran's full-length novel, 1,000 Blues East Asia Publishing, signed a film rights contract with Warner Bros., a major American entertainment company. The novel, often described as humanist SF, portrays the bond between a robot jockey and a racehorse, interweaving themes of disability, compassion, and family into an unusually rich genre narrative. Likewise, Ryeo-Ryeong's The Whole Moonji Publishing is also in development with a Hollywood production team. This psychological thriller follows a university professor who, after losing his wife in a car accident and becoming disabled, pieces together fractured memories. As a son-in-law entangled in a tense relationship with his mother-in-law, he becomes caught in subtle yet corrosive emotional fractures, which give the narrative its distinctive edge. Also, Kim Bo-young's SF novel, I Am Waiting for You, Se Paran Sangsang, is likewise being adapted for film, with Eric Roth, screenwriter of the Dune series, attached to the project. The epistolary novel is framed as a collection of letters from a groom-to-be awaiting his bride, blending themes of space travel and longing with a strong romantic sensibility unusual for the genre. In fact, the novel originated as a commission piece for a fan who wished to propose to his partner, making it a rare SF novel for proposal. The flow extends into web novels and webtoons, but the power of novels persists. The trend is shifting from novels to web novels, and webtoons these days as primary sources for adaptation. Representative cases include the Along with the Gods series, Naver webtoon, Inside Men, Cine21 Books, Omniscient Reader, Red Eye Studio, and My Daughter is a zombie YOU released this summer in Korea. Producers favor such works as a way to secure proven storylines, minimize risk, and increase the potential for franchise expansion. In this regard, popular web novels and webtoons are often considered more advantageous than traditional novels. Within the publishing industry, however, concerns are emerging that the growing influence of web-based content is reducing the share of film adaptations drawn from novels. Recently, the film, Omniscient Reader, sparked backlash among some webtoon fans for altering elements of the original setting. This points to a particular risk with adaptations of web novels and webtoons, where visual imagery is already fixed in the minds of readers. Expectations for fidelity are correspondingly stricter. Korean novels, too, carry the burden of preserving the integrity of the source material while producing films that transcend the images readers have created in their minds. Yet, the form continues to brim with potential. The narrative density, realistic characters, generational resonance, and finely woven plots of Korean fiction remain a strong foundation for cinema. Just as director Buk Tanuk noted at the 2025 Seoul International Book Fair, IBF, when he expressed his wish to adapt Han Kang's Human Acts, Changbi Publishers' traditional novels endure as a vital wellspring of inspiration and a fertile seed for new cinematic creation.
K-Book Trends offers Korea's highly informative publishing content to those in the global publishing industry. This is just one of many. See more on our website. Visit www.kbooktrends.com.